Bloomberg Technologies' Eric Newcomer breaking the fact that the CMO and COO will be leaving. Are they fired?
They're leaving. I think Dara Khosrowshahi wanted to take more direct control over the company, had two sort of longtime Uber executives in mind to take those roles, and then sort of clear, okay, you're losing the scope of your role, so then they're stepping aside, the COO and the CMO.
So, I mean, just to be clear, I mean, the two people who are leaving, are those positions being filled?
So internal executives are basically being promoted. Okay. On the operations side, Andrew McDonald, who led much of the ride-hailing business already, is taking a bigger role.
Okay.
And then Jill Hazelbaker, McCain operative, who's been at Uber leading policy and communications, is now expanding her role to run marketing as well.
Gotcha.
But it said in an email, and I'm talking about the CEO, that now that the IPO is done, he can get more personally involved in running the business. Essentially, doesn't have to spend time out on the road.
Yeah, I think that's really the message. I mean, it's almost stunning. I mean, Dara has been outside the company for so long because so much of his job has been talking to prime ministers, traveling the world, apologizing to everybody and anybody who wanted to hear it, and then trying to woo investors to invest in the company. So I think the message of the email was certainly, now I'm coming back, I'm going to run the company myself. I don't need the COO, who's been somewhat controversial, to do that.
And of course, you mentioned he's been controversial, embroiled in sort of a racially inappropriate comment.
Yeah, there were comments around sort of a commercial and whether the diversity of the commercial represented their audience, and those became sort of a big question. There was an investigation. Uber ultimately said there wasn't a problem, he didn't need to leave, but it's still, that tainted his reputation. Then I think he was just sort of a hard-charging new executive in a company that had a lot of leadership that had been running the business for a long time.
But a lot of the reasons why he had to sort of, while Khosrowshahi had to be out there sort of as the public face, dealing with the prime ministers, dealing with these governments, I mean, those issues haven't really gone away.
They haven't gone away, but I think the sort of public diplomacy is just not at the same clip it was.
Okay.
Like, I think there was a time where I'd be coming on this show and talking about how he was in one country after another, and that period it's not happening right now.
Gotcha.
One thing that happened this week was that Uber shares actually touched $45. Yeah. They didn't quite end the week at that level, but they're back to where they IPO'd. Is the sort of initial panic, I remember there was some sort of internal email after the mediocre IPO went out, is it sort of having a calming effect that the drop has stopped?
You know, I think there are a lot of people in the Uber orbit that have a lot of their wealth tied up in the stock, so they care a lot about the valuation, but they know they need to just keep operating and hope that, like Facebook, the market figures the company out.
Okay, a stock that was down today on a day when the market was up.
That's true.
When everything was up.
I guess that's kind of problematic.
Profit taking.